everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Motion Picture. It is I, Reed, Noah, Cole, and Jack. Yes, four people, not just the one. So, last week was a big release of movies. This is getting on a little bit now. Maybe you call it about a week and a half for this recording point. Anyway, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, Final Destination, Bloodlines, and A24's Friendship released all in one go, and it went pretty well. We're not even going to talk about the big whale, the big white whale of it all, that is Lilo and Stitch. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to get started here. We'll probably spend about 10 minutes on each of these, and then we got a couple other things. So yeah, first, we're going to talk a little bit about Ethan Hunt's Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. So right out of the gate, you guys, I know we've all seen Dead Reckoning. What do you think is a potential for The Final Reckoning following Dead Reckoning? What do you think? What do you think is possible? Do you think it's possible to make a good thing from the wreckage that is Dead Reckoning? Go ahead, hop in.
Well, yeah, I didn't mind Dead Reckoning. I just think it's forgettable. I haven't seen it since theaters. But yeah, I trust those guys over at Paramount.
Hmm.
Me too. I thought Dead Reckoning was fine. I think that they got a good team, so I'm excited to go see the new movie.
Looking back on Dead Reckoning, I remember leaving the theaters. I think Noah and I liked what we saw. So if I remember right, we were a little surprised people were so up in arms about the convolution of the entity.
Hmm.
Um, and I'll say Jack and I, we're not going to spoil anything for you listeners, but Jack and I are the only two that have done our homework and seen Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And I will say something nice about it is that I don't mean to like lead that in like there's bad things to really say about it, but I'll say something nice about it without spoiling anything. Is that they definitely do. Not that I remember Dead Reckoning perfectly. I think they do a good job with the entity in making it making it clear what the problem is, making it clear that it's dangerous, whereas before it was very, very cloudy, I felt. I don't know. So,
I can't agree with that. I did not like the entity in the Final Reckoning whatsoever. So
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't really like the entity in Dead Reckoning. Do you mean in the Final Reckoning you didn't like it?
in both, I don't like it
You
in
don't like it in
either of
both?
them.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
Um,
boogeyman that you don't really. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to spoil anything.
I,
I feel like I was artificially made to fear the entity.
that's where again, not going to spoil anything, but I feel like the Final Reckoning has to do a lot of work to try to simplify the entity.
Hmm.
Whereas I don't think everybody needed to simplify it, but I think a lot of people probably still did, it seemed. Um, and I think that obviously I think does cause a problem of you take away time that could be spent building this up and you spend it instead on explaining what it already is, which is unfortunate. Um, you'd hate to get to Revenge of the Sith just for them to be like, oh, and Obi-Wan Kenobi uses the Force. Like, oh, we're gonna explain that. But yeah, so I thought it was a pretty neat trick, if you will. I would not go so far as to call it a cheap trick, as that is a band of classic rock. So yeah. Now,
Can I bitch for 30 minutes about this movie?
not 30 minutes, but if you want to go for a while
My
without
bad.
spoiling
Can I
anything.
can I bitch for the first 30 minutes of this movie?
Yes, you may, as long as you don't spoil anything.
The editing for the first 30 minutes of this movie was made in a studio room. You cannot tell me that was the original cut of this movie. I do not believe that. Light spoiler, it does not spoil any story. There's a lot of flashbacks in the first 30 minutes of this movie to try to make you like people who have not seen the past six six movies. Is this eight?
Past seven
Seven?
movies.
Past seven movies to make you care about the characters. And
Hmm.
yeah,
I don't
that's
like
the
the
thing.
sound of that, I guess.
And it was my issue was where they'd be explaining something and then they'd do like a shoddy cut to a flashback, which is just a scene grab from one of the old movies.
Yeah,
And it's not even like upscaled to the new like film quality.
it's
So
just
like
same
it's just
old.
literally just a cut from Mission Impossible. And then it's
It,
like, oh, this is
it,
really taking me out of the movie.
yeah, I'm glad. I feel like as after we get through that first 30 minutes, like I if I remember right, I think we're kind of done with that. Like, I don't think, yeah.
It's weird. It's a very start. There's two different movies. There's the first 30 minutes, which I don't know why they needed people to get caught up to speed, and then the movie starts, and then you're like, oh, like I'm glad the movie started finally. It only took 30 minutes in a movie that's 2 hours and 50 minutes, and I've seen every movie, so I don't need this fucking shit. Pardon
I,
my French.
I'll say as a guy who has, well, first off, I guess I got to respond to that. We make these podcast episodes, and then every week I take clips of it and I make the reels that go on our YouTube feed that pull people in to watch the podcast. And I'll occasionally, as I'm going through, I'll edit a capturing picture on there because, not that we're not all good looking fellows, but of course, sometimes people like a little flash of color in there. I just had an awesome editing one where Noah says, thinking of two or I can't think of two, I can't think of three. I go two, the number, and then when you say I can't even think of a third, I use Scarlett Johansson to help fill that gap in for you. The obvious answer that you should have gone with. That's the joke. Anyway, so I do that same technique for us, where you show some image to help fill in the blanks here, and help people get along. So that Mission Impossible, the Paramount, the final, potentially the final movie here of Mission Impossible. I don't understand why are you doing that? Either people have seen 7 movies that lead up to this or they haven't. Don't
Yeah,
make a movie for people that haven't seen 7 movies that lead up to
yeah.
this. What are you
And,
doing?
And
uh,
here's my issue with it. And it's the issue of doing the two-parter movie. And this movie, Connor saw it. Connor saw it with me, my dear little brother. He does not like it, but he never saw Dead Reckoning. And I said, "Oh, it makes more sense if you saw Dead Reckoning." And I think that's the issue with this movie, is that's technically two movies.
Yeah.
It's technically one movie that they made two movies of. And the first 30 minutes does not do it any favors in that regard.
Um,
well,
Like,
yeah, like Reed, your point is very well taken. This is the eighth one. This is not the time to flashback. That would be like if Endgame was running clips from like Iron Man 2.
yeah,
That's not the time. This should be it. This should be the finale. And I haven't seen this movie, so I guess I don't know how
and
egregious these flashbacks are, but I do not
and
like when movies do that.
ugh, I wish you could have seen it so I can bitch about the next point, but I can't. But
I'm
like,
currently on a rewatch. Like I'm going to see it. I just watched Ghost Protocol yesterday, so I'm such a fan of these movies. I didn't feel right just hopping right into eight
no,
without kind of refreshing myself. But apparently,
Mhm.
I could have gone right to eight because it
you
was going
got
to give me
it gives,
flashbacks anyways.
it gives you 30 minutes of catching up the story. I
Yeah.
want to bitch about the story elements and I can't because that's where a lot of my complaints lie.
maybe
I
next
will
Well, you
week.
can
say
use you can go into without going into detail. You can just describe it.
I can't though.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I can't
it's
because
Like, was it
I want
engaging? Was it interesting? Was it boring?
I will say the final stunt is really fun and but I don't know. This movie has a roller coaster feel to it where I feel like they ran out of stunt ideas. I don't I might eat my words for this, but I don't think the stunts are as good as they are they've lost the novelty as the other old stunts, is what I'm trying to like get at. I
I
feel like I feel like I've seen all these stunts before. It's
I
like a you hear me? Do you
I know
hear what
what
I'm
you
trying to
mean.
put
The
down?
stress that is on some of these stunts. I don't want to spoil any. Like, there's no spoiler because in terms of what the flashbacks are, is really to help with the story of the movie. The flashbacks don't really help with who Ethan Hunt is, which is probably more harmful than anything, I guess. Because I mean, one complaint I have about this is, and I don't want to spoil anything. I just, and maybe I'm wrong. I feel like Ethan Hunt's character does not develop too much in this. I feel like and I guess this is also a good way of storytelling. I think we're at the point in Ethan Hunt's character where we are with this is Ethan Hunt and this is him giving it his all. So like, I think it's cool. But anyway, that being said, it hurts to have not seen the other movies because I felt with just about every stunt, it was like, okay, it's a new situation, a new scenario, a new attempt he's got to make, but like we've seen him do similar things. So that he's doing these things, I felt like, yeah, like I feel like he's capable of doing some of these things, even though it's on the edge. Um, because like, he's kind of done the same thing before. So like he's well practiced. But I also want to say something about me here when I review movies that are kind of important to a big franchise. I think I do a terrible job when it comes to the penultimate episode. I think I'm unfair about it. I think I lean into wanting it to be better. I don't think I'm doing it with this movie. Like, that's why I'm hesitant to say good things. I'm hesitant to say bad things. Like I want to be clear. I'm very cautious when talking about this. So I really don't mean to say anything. That being said, anything good I have to say about that, take it with a grain of salt. Anything bad I have to say about this, take it with a grain of salt. I am the unreliable narrator of the Mission Impossible franchise. So
I have a question
I have an
because
answer.
one thing bothered me, and this is from Final Reckoning, not I mean Dead Reckoning too. I don't know if I like the whole Ethan Hunt is like a messiah figure, like he can do no wrong. The whole, do you get what I mean by
Well,
that?
that's
You
where
know,
we're kind of getting to, where people
yeah,
finally are, we got this character where there's no more learning for him. I think people kind of, as he talks to people, like, obviously not everybody is like all in, but like some people are like, I mean, he's Ethan Hunt. Like, we have this whole evidence of a career of success. So, like, he's a guy, like maybe, but anyway, I do like, there's always a theme in these movies where something like Ethan Hunt, best agent we have, something happens. Don't trust him. Kill Ethan Hunt. It's like, oh, okay, we're doing that again. In this movie, we have something, we have this, of course, the same. That's the theme of these movies of like the odd man out. What's he going to do? But in this setup and situation, the way we go about it is different, which I very much love. I very much appreciate the world.
I believe out of all 8 movies, the only one where he just accepts his mission and does it is Mission Impossible 2. Like where he's working for the IMF and not
yeah.
betrayed or disavowed in some way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we have seen that before too.
And that is something that I would have liked more of in the franchise because it does get a little
Yeah,
tiring when
Isn't he
yeah.
disavowed on purpose though in number, is it 3 or 4?
3, no, that's the Lawrence Fishburne, Billy Crudup one. He gets betrayed by the IMF.
whoa, spoilers here.
Ah,
4 is God. 4 is Ghost
The
Protocol,
Ghost
so that's
Protocol.
the entire IMF
yeah.
is disavowed. So yeah, no, some shit's always going wrong
Yeah.
with that.
It's like, but it's like in Star Trek though. If you save the world, you'll get forgiven for all the shit that you do.
Exactly. Yep.
Mm, Yep, it's
Yeah.
the Star Trek logic. You just have to save the entire world, and then you're good. Yeah, everything will be forgiven, like stealing a starship from a docking bay
Okay, so in
and
this
assaulting.
in this Mission Impossible movie, when Ethan Hunt steals the starship, out of this world. What a twist.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no, I spoiled the whole darn thing when Thanos
As,
arrives.
as long
Um,
as you save the world, you can do anything.
Yeah, but I thought the whole Blue Origin shoe in though was a bit much though.
It was a bit when he has to take the little blue pill. I thought, man, he's getting old in this movie, isn't he? So I want to say, while I did
Uh,
express I may not be a reliable narrator for saying this, I think I would be well enough within reason to say if I recommend it or don't. And I would actually recommend it. I would recommend we've had problems, us fellas, in the past when it comes to franchises. We've been let down by the endings to franchises to a point we don't want to go back. Star Wars, the Unbreakable series by M. Night Shyamalan. Like this has happened. This is a franchise now after seeing, what could very well be the end of it all. I think I would very much recommend it. I think we have ourselves well, I don't want to say concluded because I guess you don't really know ever. I want to say we have a point here where we're aces. Don't think you're gonna get let down. Don't think you get to episode 8 and you're like, oh no. Like, no, you're probably gonna get through it all and say, yeah, that's pretty rootin' tootin' good. So it's a recommendation. That's a buy, as Leonard would say on the show community. So moving on, if I may, unless Jack, if you feel
You're
so,
not gonna let me get. You're not gonna let
I
me put
see.
my 2 cents
I
in.
didn't. I didn't know. I didn't know
You
if
don't
you
want to know if
wanted.
I recommend this movie or
Do you
not.
do you recommend it? Do you have no opinion, or do you
I
not
do
recommend it?
recommend this movie, but you have to watch Dead Reckoning. I think you
Yeah.
have to watch Dead Reckoning. So if you're going in cold turkey, it won't be as good as if you've seen Dead Reckoning.
And you know what? We talked about how we have all those clips and whatnot. Like, I actually would say you probably can get away with not. It may actually be even better if you just don't watch the other movies other than Dead Reckoning, because you'll like appreciate when they're doing the exposition of Ethan Hunt's like entire career, like from
Oh,
clip to clip. Like,
oh no, there's a character who's in this movie that I want you to text me when he comes on screen because you're gonna
I
be very excited about him.
there is a
Oh, okay.
I think we're within our rights not to spoil anything. I'm not even gonna say what movie it is. There is a returning character that we have not seen in some time, and
From the franchise?
from the
Yeah.
franchise, from
Ooh,
Mission
okay.
Impossible 1 to 7, a character pops back up for
It's
like a large role.
besides Kittredge, Henry Czerny.
I'm not gonna say a thing, man. Like
Nope.
Well, I know he's in Seven, so like,
no, I'm not gonna say a thing.
Right.
I
okay,
am,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, your mission now, should you choose to accept it, is to just go see this movie and figure out who it
Okay,
is. Who
well,
could it
okay,
be?
now I'm very excited.
I actually kind of want to go see the movie again because that character is probably like my favorite part of this movie, which
Damn
is
it, now I'm gonna be
unfair.
tempted to like look at. I
No,
won't,
dude,
but
Yeah.
I'm tempted to
You
don't
go
can't.
do it,
figure out
man.
who it is.
It
Dude, you're gonna
genuinely
love
it.
it.
He comes on screen. Oh, they come on screen. She, who might it be? They come on screen, and for a split second, I'm like, why do I know this guy?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it hits me, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I'm like,
Dude,
damn, that's a throwback.
that is exactly what my timing was, where it's like, huh,
Huh.
that looks like a really familiar. Oh my God, like what? So yeah. All right. Let's
That's gonna
keep
be my reaction when I see Mr. Milkchick.
Yeah, yeah,
That's it.
right.
I'm gonna be like, I know this guy. It's Mr. Milkchick. I'm excited to see him in the
Do I
movie.
call him to work and watch the next four Mission Impossibles tomorrow?
Yes.
maybe you do actually. That would be good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a Monday. Mondays are impossible. All right, next up, let's go let's talk the A24 movie because I think there's probably more fans currently of Tim Robinson than there are of Final Destination. Would you guys concur on that? I feel like he's more the
I would
popular
concur. He's a little more
I
in
would
in
concur.
the zeitgeist.
and Paul Rudd.
Yep.
So what I guess I am the residential guy who went and saw Friendship. Not gonna spoil anything. If there's, I would say between, I guess I don't know really. I'd say go watch the movie in plain and simple terms. I'm not gonna convolute it. Go watch this movie. If you like thrillers and also comedies, this is for you. If you like Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd, if you even have a faint like for either one of those guys, watch this movie. I think it's gonna seal the deal for you. Um, if you're not in on Paul Rudd yet, I don't know what you've seen that hasn't sold yet. Anyway, yeah, movie about friendship. I don't know. Do you guys have concerns about it or any thoughts on it?
Is Tim Robinson acting in this movie, or is it just Tim Robinson? Because from the not I you know I love his thing, but from the clips I've seen, it's just like it feels like an I think you should leave sketch so far from what I've seen.
I felt, if I might, without spoiling things, I felt like the pacing of this was like this. If you remove the Tim Robinson affect of this movie and you don't have those bits in there where he does a funny bit, which are nice, you have like an actual, this would be a nonstop thriller of like, this is some unsettling stuff. But like it's cool in that Tim Robinson hops in and he does his Tim Robinson shtick. And then he goes back to this potential like thriller, like, ooh, what's gonna happen now character where it's like it's this point of relief of like, ha, this is nice and funny, and then you like kind of have to immediately start to understand like, but like we can't really have fun with this character. Like something is amiss, perhaps. So
Okay.
I think it's in. I said it was interesting. Um, yeah, I don't think there is a lot of Tim Robinson shtick. There's also not a lot for his character as well. So you get some range, not I won't say
Okay.
range, but you get some different things for him. Yeah.
Was it funny? Was it a funny movie?
It yeah, it was funny. It
Okay,
was funny
that's what I
itself.
want to know. If it was really funny, then I'm yeah.
this is one of those things where like this is a rare moment where you get a funny movie that can also be a thriller. Like there's times where it's like there's some scary things happening here and I'm not really comfortable with what's going on, and then 2 seconds later you're like, yeah, it's Tim Robinson.
Yep.
Oh, it's Paul Rudd now. Hey. So yeah, it's very good. It's a likable movie for all that it is. I'll say as well, there is I don't know, in terms of A24 movies, this is one of those ones I feel like they've got a huge collection of movies that they put together now or shipped out now. This is one of the top ones for me, I think. Not in terms of like a Midsummer where it's like I can never watch that again, but in terms of like I will watch this again. I will watch this several more times in my life, many times, and I won't even count. Like it's just enjoyable, really. You could throw it on whenever. You could throw it on if you want a kind of thriller movie night. You could throw it on at 8:30 in the morning when you want to have something fun to wake up to. Like there's layers. It's good. Yeah.
That's good to hear. It has not come to Duluth yet, which is weird because maybe it came to Cinema or something. I guess I didn't check that, but
Always check the cinema.
yeah, I don't know.
I really had something to tack onto it. I swear. I feel like I had a good couple comments and whatnot to speak on the matter. Uh,
Did you like the performances? Like, were they were they funny? Were they good?
I did like the performances. I thought
Who was better, Tim Robinson or like Paul Rudd?
I feel like Paul Rudd completes his performance more wholefully. However, I think he has the easier role as kind of like he's just a guy. Like he's fun and funny along with it, but he's more of just a guy who kind of makes friends with Tim Robinson. And Tim Robinson is Tim Robinson trying to be a guy. And, so like Tim Robinson's pretty much playing this character of like I don't know, I guess more or less himself, but in a world where he kind of doesn't get away with being himself so easily. Whereas if he's in a skit, he gets to do whatever he wants and everybody gets to laugh. Like this is a movie where like people don't necessarily find him funny. Like imagine a world where I Think You Should Leave doesn't take off and we're all sitting around watching it and like no one laughs. Like that's what it is. Imagine you're an old person. That's what this movie is for Tim Robinson. Yeah.
But I don't like Tim Robinson. I'm kidding. I
Yeah.
like Tim Robinson.
Yeah, no, I struggle. I think I've said this point many times. It's not very often I get an effect from a movie, certainly not scary movies, and I'm not gonna say this movie scared me. It doesn't ever really do that. Tim Robinson has some good moments where it's like, oh, that's an effective performance. He did good there. Um, but like I think in terms of what affects me in movies, the Rohirrim charge from, Pelennor
That
Fields.
chicken in Brightburn that runs across the screen when they're in a barn.
Yeah, one does get everybody. That
Yeah.
is not for mortal men. Like SpongeBob, I'm a goofy goober, in Shell City, obviously pulls at the old heartstrings. Um, I guess there's this scene in season 3 of Twin Peaks, gets me every time. I can't help it. I'm defenseless to it. Like it just bam, like that. They got me. That being
Agreed.
said, huh?
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I had Twin Peaks season 3 spoiled for me.
No,
One
dude.
line. It was one line.
I bet, yeah,
And you probably can think about what line it was
I know what it
because,
is. I had a
yeah,
reel pop up the other day. I was showing Maddie reels and I'm scrolling. One of them popped up and it's like a clip of that. I was like, no, no, no. Like, absolutely not. What are you doing?
that's what
Was
happened. That's what happened to me. I was on
Yeah.
Instagram and it popped up, and I was like, God, no, I wanted to see that.
Yeah. Kind of like a,
was what was the line? These peaks. There's two of them.
damn it, Noah. You just spoiled Twin Peaks for everybody.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Sorry, guys.
rude.
Dude, now I can't even watch the show anymore.
Yeah, there's no going back.
No,
Anyway,
it's probably the most the important line Kyle MacLachlan has ever said, and it was spoiled for me. So
yeah.
love
See,
that.
I feel bad for you because that is the most earned line of dialogue in any piece of media ever.
yeah, my
So perfect.
absolutely well put. My brother Michael texted me out of the blue when he got to that, and he said there's like three things that have ever got me to tear up and watching, and I forget what the second was. First was Pelennor Fields because he's a human being, and the third, of course, was that line in Twin Peaks. And it's like, yeah, like what else do you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah,
That's
we're different
amazing.
in that as I literally teared up at a Major League Baseball home run today. So it doesn't take much for me.
Which one?
Ellie De La Cruz, his sister passed like last night and he hit a homer today and
Oh
pointed at
wow.
the sky.
Wow.
I was a wreck from that. And I don't even follow that team or him.
Yeah.
He
Wow.
also
Well,
cried when a monkey died on TV, so
Yeah. Well, he was an
an
important
animated
monkey.
monkey played by Andy Serkis.
He was real to me.
It's okay.
um, but I wanted to say, so yeah, there's not a lot that does get me going on these things. There's something, I guess maybe another example. No, I won't even go there because it's not relevant. But so anyway, this movie, there's a character who wants friendship with Paul Rudd, and he gets that. The plot of the movie is essentially he becomes friends with Paul Rudd, and then out of the blue, something happens, and Paul Rudd doesn't necessarily want to be as good of friends with Tim Robinson. And then Tim Robinson is kind of working hard to get back in the good graces, and you just kind of start to realize how lonely a person can be, and like I struggle seeing that in things. Like it opens up something inside of myself. Not like, we're all good friends and everything, and I've got friends down here, and I'm very social. So it's not something I deal with, but seeing other people in that, like where like you could share a park bench with somebody and they could just be going through it. You don't even have any idea is the thing that kills me. It's like I struggle when I see people in that emotional pain. So having to watch an hour and 41 minutes of Tim Robinson go down this path of like having a good friend out of the blue to suddenly not having him anymore is like that's the worst thing that can happen to just an everyday person where you kind of have a life and then something's wrong and it's falling apart. And so that is a part of the movie that does it, affect me, not in a tear way, but affect me in like, God, I just feel gray in my heart right now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is he a continuation of the character from the haunted house skit in I Think You Should Leave, where his grandma's like, "Did you make any friends, dear?"
No, I actually want to clarify, I guess, not spoiling anything. He is nothing like that guy at the end. Like similar vibe and where you kind of get to see these moments of like, God, he's alone, but not where you have that exact feeling. That one gets me where
Yeah.
that was really funny, but it does get me. Whereas this, like, it's not funny to see him alone. And I don't want to say like you still root for him every step of the way because there's questionable moments that he'll have, of course, very questionable moments you'll find. But even still, it's like, God, you just kind of wish things would work out so this situation's done. Like, like he's not a bad guy. He's just Paul Rudd doesn't want to be his friend. Like, and this sucks. And I don't know what the solution is. And I wish he had more to him. And and there's people like this that just live in the world and like, for no reason other than just things haven't clicked and like, a person can't be everywhere all at once. I know not everybody really cares to make friends with everybody, so it's hard, but yeah, it just bums me the heck out to see even a portrayal of that. And that's something I guess I gotta say where like I've been putting off the Whale movie for years now.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie I want to see so much. And like I said, that tackling this depression type of a thing of like loneliness is hard for me. The thing for me, I guess I'll open up. I don't, it's not really, I guess I can't open up because I don't understand it myself. A thing in movies that just me, like in anything that I can't stand is when people struggle with food. I don't know why. I just can't watch that. So this movie of the whale, I'm terrified. Like this is for my emotional maturity. This is the magnus opus of what I have to take on.
Yeah.
This movie is my
Wait,
D-Day.
You
like
should be
what do you
scared.
mean? Like what do you
Yeah.
mean? Like people eating too much food, or like people like
People,
puking up food?
no, not like the physical.
That's gross.
People who have like a struggle to have a relationship in any way with food, whether it's overindulging or underindulging. I just
Okay.
something inside of myself, like it hurts a piece of me. Like the chambers of my heart, I think, tighten. Like things don't run right when I see that. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm unwound.
I'm
I don't like
unwound.
talking about it.
You opened
I
me.
hate you. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I don't like it. It's such a reaction I can't control. Not like I get up and start yelling, but like I just like my heart races and like I can't calm down. I hate it. And that's the only thing in a movie that can get me going like that. Like other things can get me moving, but not like that. It's like dropping me out of a plane. Would I recommend A24's Friendship? Hell yeah. hell yeah. I don't mean to take away from Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. I'd absolutely recommend it, but Friendship, I would recommend to anybody I pass on the street. I'd say, do any of these fuckers ever pop out of the walls? Anyway, that's all I'm going to quote about that. Even the F word, I didn't, I don't, we're a family friendly podcast, so cover your kids' ears 10 seconds ago. Moving on. Next up, we have got Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, I can't really be a good shepherd when it comes to this because I have only seen the like end of the original Final Destination movies because I stumbled into you guys watching these. So I don't have much to say other than the new one looks pretty cool, and I'm glad we have a revival. That's nice. So, what
Did
are your
you
thoughts?
did anyone see it?
No, no, we're just
No?
shooting
Okay.
from the hip here.
Good, good.
Yeah. Well, does anybody expect that they'll like it? Does it look good to you fellas who are deep in the clutches of Final Destination?
So here's my 2 cents, Reed. The Final Destination movies have never been critically acclaimed. So the fact that Bloodlines has a score higher than 75, it makes me very excited to see this movie. Because that means there's an actual movie along with the death and horrible dying, crazy crap that goes on in these movies.
Well, good.
Noah can attest as someone you could say we are scholars of Final
Yes.
Destination.
Yes. Experts might be strong, but it wouldn't be wrong either.
You-
Um, I mean, we watched the first five in what, 5 days, maybe a week.
It was
Dang.
it was like in a week and a half because we
Yeah,
started it.
it didn't take very long. These movies, while they're definitely not critically acclaimed, and some of them aren't very good, the premise always is, and the ideas are always great. There are at least six like things, and I've seen each one of these movies once that like I can shut my eyes and like see them, like stick in your head good ideas. So the fact that we're getting like a modern take on this, like I'm so excited to see it. I feel like if Jack and I lived within 100 miles of each other, we would have seen it already. But like looking back on that movie series, there's some good ideas and some bad performances and some bad VFX at times.
And bad movies.
But I think even the old ones are better than people think for the most part. Like I would recommend going through the whole series. You're not going to have a
Like
bad time if you like horror movies and gruesome deaths. So
I don't know if you can really call them they're horror movies, but more so in the fact that you just
yeah,
watch people die for 90
yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
But like number two, traumatized a generation
yeah,
with the
yeah.
log truck. Like no one,
For
I don't
real.
drive behind log trucks. I get the fuck out of that way. I go, "Ooh,"
the
I get
the
out of
bridge
there.
the bridge sequence in 5 too, where the bridge collapses, is kind of like stunning to watch. It
It's
looks
cool.
good. Yeah.
I will say that's the Final Destination, right? Or is
No,
that
the
four?
the Final
The Final
Destination is
Destination is
4.
four.
Yeah.
Final Destination five is
Yeah.
five.
No way. That's
Oh,
awesome.
That's the worst one. That one's the
That one
toughest
is bad.
watch. Yeah.
That
That
one
is
was hard.
funny.
Yep.
That is Friday the 13th Part 4, The Final Destination,
Yes.
followed by 6 more movies.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
or the
Number
other
the
one's after.
Final Destination is one of those movies where watching Final Destination 5 and the twist in that movie
Yes.
audibly made me gag. Like,
Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it is a quality twist as someone who
Yeah.
has seen
Absolutely.
all of the Final Destinations. So that would be me watching Bloodlines if there's even a single callback to the original series, because I'd be like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. But
I was gonna I really my comp day was last Tuesday. And or no, maybe it wasn't. It wasn't. I just got off work and I had this plan, this crazy plan, but I just didn't have the energy. I was going to do a triple feature and see all these 3 movies. And I said, nah, because I don't want to be too tired for Mission Impossible. Like I really want to appreciate that. So I'll just do 2. And we got done with Friendship last Tuesday, and I was like 20 minutes past the start time on Final Destination. So I was like, I can't make it. Like it wasn't supposed to run this late. I can't make it. And then I thought, well, what if I do something crazy? And I go and watch a Final Destination movie the way it's not meant to be seen, and I miss the beginning exposition that puts out all the threat of what could possibly happen, and I just watch a normal movie where everybody gets massacred by natural causes, essentially from the world killing people. And I almost did, but I didn't. And I don't know. Do you guys think the movies would benefit from losing the creative option that they took a long time ago of showing what could possibly go wrong here as the threat?
No,
I
that's what makes the movie good.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. The roller coaster scene, the
The roller
racetrack
coaster.
scene.
The racetrack is a bad one. That
That
one's
is
bad.
that's the like 3D one, right?
Yeah, that's the
Where
3D one where the car
yeah.
rolls into the crowd and like it's a
Yeah,
really bad VFX.
I'm now putting together that the Friday the 13th series and Final Destination have some similarities. So, yeah.
Yeah. They're not so different. Do you guys recall? I don't remember who I watched it with. It could have been all four of us, might have been just three of us, but I definitely feel like Noah was there. I feel like Noah was there, but maybe I don't know. Anyway, there's this movie we watched at one point. There was always the cover's that creepy cover where it's like that gray face thing with like the hand on the face.
Yes, that movie fucking sucked. What
Yeah,
was that called?
I don't know, but
Wait,
I think that might have been me, you, and Maddie, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
it's a
One last call?
no, one last call. I think that's a line from Closing Time. Movie
Yeah.
cover where the person has a hand on face. Maybe this will help.
Shazam it.
Shazam this movie.
Damn it. Chat
Yeah.
GPT.
Oh, I forgot.
ChatGPT.
My internet's being pretty terrible. Anyway, but yeah, the plot of the movie.
Let me look.
Wait, hold up.
What?
I can go to the 5th podcast member.
Yes, Billy Preston returns.
What's on the cover?
It's
My
like
hand,
this
great.
hand over the mouth
Yeah.
and like a gray
Damn,
face
what is that
thing.
movie called?
I don't want to say Hush. I don't think it's Hush.
No, it's not Hush. That's a different one.
It like centers around a phone.
Yes.
And a character, an actor in it is, I think, one of the guys from Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Matt
find it.
Damon.
Not Adam Goldberg, if that's his name. And
Matt
not
Damon.
not Matt Damon, not Paul Giamatti either.
Tom Hanks.
Not Tom Hanks, not Vinny D.
Talk to me? Is it
Talk to
Scream?
me.
Is it Scream? Because there's the hand on the cover. Greed, I hope you're not talking about Scream.
No.
No,
I
I'm
wrote
kidding.
Scream.
We'll get to the bottom of this. God dang it, my internet just won't work. Dude, if you go, we got some juice here. We got some juice
I
here.
can't find it on my
Is it the
Letterboxd.
Possession?
No.
No,
Is it Talk to Me? That sounds maybe right.
I don't think that's a movie.
No, it's not that. It is a movie, but it's not that.
Talk to Me is a movie. It's an A24 movie. I've seen
The
that.
Frighteners?
Nah, it's not that. This
What
episode
is
is
that?
just us as we go along.
I mean, this has never happened to me for so long, though. Like, I know what this movie is.
Oh dang, Adam Goldberg's getting old.
Where'd you see a picture of Adam Goldberg?
I'm on the stinking thing. I'm trying to find Private Reuben from Saving Private Ryan.
There's a chance I just didn't rate it on Letterboxd because it was so bad.
What a race. Everybody listening must be like, I would be excited hearing what's going on. This is a race, and I am going to win this race. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is One Missed Call.
One missed call. I was so close.
And not that this will be pleasant for those of you watching at home, but I'm going to show a picture here. It's not a hand over the thing. It's this. Remember this? They got the face with the eyes and the mouth. Yeah, there we go. Because
I didn't even rate it on Letterboxd. It was such a nothing movie.
I was not around for this movie.
You know what? I gotta say, I remember always thinking the cover of this is creepy. Now seeing it, like, kind of ridiculous. Like, that's how bad of a movie it was. Like,
One missed call.
Is it Splice level bad, Noah? That's where I usually hold my bad movies.
It's not as shocking as Splice.
Okay.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd probably watch One Missed Call again before I'd watch Splice.
I bring
That's
all that
the rating.
business up because I actually always thought from the one Final Destination movie that I have seen, along with some clips of the others, I've always felt like One Missed Call kind of has a feeling similar to Final Destination.
It does. It's a very similar.
Which Final Destination have you seen?
The fifth one, the last one, before this new one. I think actually, yeah, that is very similar in that I think people like have a vision of, or they get a call about what's going
Yeah.
to happen to them. Yeah, yeah, one last call, or one missed call. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about Final Destination Bloodlines. Everybody,
About 8 minutes of us trying to figure out what the one
and we've never
movie
seen
is
it.
called.
that was
Yeah.
riveting. That really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Now that we've made this, I don't actually know if I'll end up seeing Final Destination Bloodlines. I might, but it's just,
Well, it'll
It'll
probably
probably
be
be
streaming in
something
like
I get
3
on
weeks.
streaming.
So
yeah. I think I just, God. But then what do I go see Tuesday in the movie theater? I don't
is
know. Like,
isn't there a few good ones coming out here
Is-
pretty quick?
yeah. Actually, I think they're gonna show Minecraft movie. You ever heard of it?
How about Karate Kid Legends?
Yeah.
That just moved to the top of my list.
I
It is
actually
not on mine.
I do want to say that movie looks better than what I thought it was gonna look like. Like I'm not gonna see it, and I do love Cobra Kai, but like it it looks more put together than I thought. I thought it was gonna be like Doctor Strange would make a bubble appear, and then
Yeah.
like Jackie Chan would step out, and
There's never been a bad one. Never
yeah.
been a bad Karate Kid movie.
See, I don't know if
Really?
it's
Karate Kid 2?
I love the Karate Kid too. I
You
watched
sure?
some of it yesterday. Where they go to Okinawa. Have you seen that, Cole?
I've seen bits and pieces of
I've,
it. I don't
like
think it
I
was
don't
good.
think you'd hate it. It's not bad at all. Three is worse, and then there's the new Karate Kid with Hilary Swank, and that one's probably the worst. But Jaden Smith one isn't that bad
I
even.
was
It's
gonna
not
say
that
that's the
bad.
Jane Smith one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to the Karate Kid portion of this podcast here. So yeah, Cole doesn't like Karate Kid 2. Noah's not a great fan of Karate Kid with Hilary Swank. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say something pretty controversial that I think Noah's well aware of, but you two
Yeah.
fellas might not know. I do not like the Karate Kid. I
Oh,
don't
thank
like it
God.
at all. Yeah, it's boring. It sucks. It's lame. And like the story of it all, like it gets proven in Cobra Kai. Like it happens in Cobra Kai. I love the Cobra Kai and I love Ralph Macchio in it. But The Karate Kid is a movie about Ralph Macchio showing up in a town, picking a fight he's not going to win, learning how to fight so he can win, kick the ass of this like not cool kid who's just trying to make it like another kid. Like adults are pinning kids against each other.
Johnny is an asshole in that movie. He
Dude,
is.
hey,
Johnny sucks, dude.
oh
Johnny
my
sucks.
God, Ralph Macchio comes in and he's Mr. Steal Your Girl. Of course Johnny's gonna be a jerk, you know? If
Allie
some
and
guy
Johnny were
comes in
already
dissing you,
They
fly
were
girl.
already broken up before Daniel got to town.
Relationships are complicated. I don't mean to excuse any jerkery, but I gotta say relationships are a hard thing to work through. You might call it off, you might call it back on. Things are complicated. Life is not so clear cut as you hope it to be. I think you'll find that very much the case in the movie The Green Book. So, that being said, The Karate Kid is hot garbage.
So he uses an illegal
Cobra
kick.
Kai coach. The Cobra Kai coach kind of is a psycho, though.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Johnny didn't even want to cheat
For
at the
sure.
end. He's like, you're gonna do it.
So you kind of
So, I
have
mean,
this really
But
cool
Ralph,
moment.
the Karate Kid uses an illegal kick. You can't. They set that
Sweep
out.
the leg.
Sweep the
Refs didn't
leg.
call
Sweep
it.
the leg. Yeah, refs didn't call it, dude.
Sure.
I just think it's a boring movie. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not
Also,
a big
like,
fan
how
of
can
it.
you? That's like a movie thing, though. You have to have him win in a cool way. Like, come on.
Cool
Like,
illegal way.
The first Karate Kid is probably in my top 10 movies of all time. It's
It's
definitely in the
terrific.
top 10 movies I've seen the most. I watch it very regularly.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I think like I don't remember when I first tried to watch it. I just couldn't get in. I think I tried a second time. It has the same effect on me, I think, as Blade Runner does, where like I can't do it. Like it's not there for me. Whereas
Dude.
Cobra Kai like is exciting. Maybe I like the story of this guy who's a loser jerk. Maybe I like that comeback story a bit more than kid who's pretty neutral and a good guy shows up. I guess I don't find that interesting. You know, a good guy does a good thing and is a good person. Like, you know, whereas in Cobra Kai, like it's really this entire series long story of Johnny continually failing to do the right thing, and slowly he's better and better about it, but it's still work for him. That I like.
I love that too. I love Cobra Kai.
So yeah, maybe I guess maybe because I have such an outlet. Jack, you were gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna ask if we're able to move on because I would like to talk about something very, very newsworthy. I don't know if you've seen it all over the news. Like
I
a big major
actually
event just happened.
I have actually deleted all my news stuff and whatnot. I gotta
Then
find a new outlet
you
for
don't know
news.
about the Miracle Over the Mojave, then, do you?
The Miracle Over the Mojave? You think I haven't heard? You don't think I'm up to speed? Dude, this is the biggest miracle since perhaps, I guess, either the miracle on the
Miracle.
Hudson, really, or the miracle on ice, or perhaps, dare I say it, even probably more important than the miracle of Jesus. So, dare I say it? This was big. Cole, you're aware of the Miracle Over the Mojave?
Yeah, I know, like the fucking shit they did. It's so dumb. It's so funny.
What a collapse on a very valid talking point for this guy, where he had all this evidence and he still does, but then he goes and says, "Yeah, it was actually a miracle."
Yeah.
That's
I
funny.
saved, he said, like, I saved 120 lives or whatever.
150 people.
Yeah.
He's told that
It's
the Wolf Blitzer on
Oh.
CNN.
And he keeps telling the other anchor that Wolf is like superior.
I can't. It's so funny. And
It's
every time
so
she
funny.
says, actually, Wolf's a really nice guy, he goes, "Yeah, but you have to say that."
yeah. It's
He's
That's so funny.
it's him wearing the 737
yes,
hat,
the
like
hat.
fully
It's
dressed up.
unforgivable. The
Like
way he treats people is unforgivable. He's a
He's so funny.
psychopath. Oh.
He's the funniest dude. He was at a
but
red carpet thing. I just saw like the HBO account put it out, and they're like, "Would you recommend this? Who would you recommend this series to?" And he's like, "I'd recommend it to young people, old people, and like if you have like 2 weeks left to live, I think you'd like to watch it or something like that."
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, of course he says that dumb shit. Like, if you're close to dying, I think you'd like it.
have you so Reed, you've had the opportunity to catch up on the rehearsal, I
Oh,
assume, right?
I'm through. I've seen it.
Have you talked about episode 3 on the podcast yet
I don't think we
of
really
season 2?
have. Maybe
Okay.
for a second, but I think at the time I hadn't seen it, so I think I said,
Right.
guys, we
Yeah.
can't really do
Can
this.
we talk about season 2, episode 3 of the rehearsal finally?
Is that where he
Uh,
becomes Sully?
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
where he
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
Solly.
Yeah.
I am not kidding. I watched it twice in one day because I watched it and then I watched it with Cole because I was like, Cole, you have to watch this. I don't think there has been a better 32 minutes of television put out in the last 20 years, and I will stand by that. The roller coaster that this episode went through, that is him. Spoil. We're going into spoiler territory, people. Heads up.
Yeah, we're gonna
You've got 10
spoil.
seconds.
Drop out
The
if you need.
the cut from him talking about the family dog, which is so stupid, by the way. That whole sequence of the dog jumping up, them cutting to him as baby Sully in the big giant room. I paused the episode. I couldn't. Like, I had this. I could not stop laughing. To then watching him drown in fake milk as he's coughing.
Yeah, I
He's
actually
so funny.
the one and only thing I had spoiled for me was a picture of him as that, and I don't know if I had even started watching season 2 yet. I saw that and I got home from work and I was like tunnel vision trying to get logged into HBO however I could of like,
Yeah.
I gotta see this. Like, what is
Yeah.
happening? Like this, I can't have any more spoil. Yeah,
You literally cannot predict what happens next in that episode.
no.
Like every beat is so perfect. It's so funny.
Yeah. If we
I
may continue further into spoiler territory, may we, I guess? I think it doesn't
Go
really
Go
ahead.
matter.
ahead.
I don't think like that was funny to me. The whole thing was funny, and I was definitely laughing at that. To me, I think what was the funniest was as far as he pushes his character of Nathan Fielder in this of does he have a mental illness? Why is he like this? Like what's going on? To the final point where the girl's singing the song and he gets the voicemail
Yep.
at that moment from the doctor about we have your test results. And as soon as he gets that, I'm looking at it. I say, yeah, he's gonna delete that. Like that
Yep.
is the punctuation of this whole episode is he is gonna ignore the diagnosis like everyone else. And when he actually hit that button finally, I don't think I've laughed like that. I don't think my body's produced
Yeah.
that noise before. Yeah, he just pushes it.
Unbelievable.
It is so funny. I don't know how he comes up with this, or like how he like the whole Paramount sequence too, when he does it like there's a German.
That was so funny. They do like a digital map, and it's like Nazi Germany taking
Yeah.
over Europe. It's Paramount. That's so funny.
The huge blue Paramount flags. I want one of those. Like
Yeah.
that is funny. That's really good prop humor.
No, but this Evanescence is gonna have a comeback like no other because
Evanescence.
of this series.
That
Because of
Amy Lee, the lead singer, has talked about it, has been promoting the show because of it.
like
Hmm.
because they opened that episode up with him talking about this blank 23 seconds, and
Yep.
the fact that whoever in the writing room, I don't know who it was
It was
that
perfect
pitched
writing.
that idea, that it was that song was that it was whoever connected those dots like needs to win an award or get paid a lot of money,
Yeah.
because I
It's
would have
like,
not been able to make that connection.
nope. I would never guess by the end of the
No.
episode I would be laughing about them using Evanescence as a joke. I love when he's dressed up as Sully. He looks so stupid and all that
Yeah.
makeup. And like every single time they cut to him like in a different part of his life is so hilarious. Like I love when they're in his living room. They took you could just see like they took pictures of him and his family. It's funny and all that. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
The montage at the end is hilarious.
I'm also a big proponent of like bringing back TV show schedules. Let's get a season a year, not with
Mhm.
Nathan. Like I he can take 10 years off after this cuz I know whatever he comes back with is going to be one of the craziest things I've ever seen. His mind is just crazy to me. I'm such a
Yep.
fan.
What I really appreciate is like normally you get the 2 year gap between things, and it's like you got through it, and it's like, oh, that was really good, but like, did you really need 2 years to make this? Like 10 years ago, people would have just made
Right.
this, like, and twice as many episodes per season. When we get the reality that all this time he actually was getting a pilot's license, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, there was
He
a
actually did
reason.
need 2 years.
Yeah.
Literally.
him
Yeah.
him talking about him getting his pilot license is so funny. Him getting handed to different instructors, being like,
Passed around.
What's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
Like,
The stat that he provides when I am the pilot in America with the lowest amount of hours and a Boeing 737 certification. Like, wow, what a milestone for you, dude. Like, very irresponsible.
He's
he
so
does look like
funny.
a guy who got really good grades. Like, come on.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I saw a post where the top comment immediately, and I think that's becoming the trend, is I went to Canada's and got really good grades or whatever. I LOL'd at that, as they say. Um, Yeah, I'm very glad again. He pushed it so far this season. I actually was shaking in my boots thinking, "Oh my God, Nathan's actually crazy." To then see all these clips now, it's like, "No, no, no, it's okay." Like I shouldn't have doubted him. He's being funny.
He's being funny. It's just I think about the people who have to do the budget for that show, and clearly he says that they're under budget on it. I don't know
Yeah.
how. I don't know how you build a mock terminal and then move his I don't know if they're going to do a season three. I hope they renew for a season three,
They
and I
probably
hope the
will.
bar appears in every season because I love that joke of him
I do
owning a
too.
bar that moves around with him.
I hope the bar remains in the terminal and we just expand on the terminal. Like I love this thought of continually evolving and growing this monstrosity of what he keeps. Also, the bit where he goes to talk to the congressman and, he very clearly makes the point, I don't actually need to rehearse. It's just something I do sometimes. So I'm going into this completely dark. To then go in and I think very, very, very much act like he's kind of falling apart. Where very much I think he's well in control of every moment of
Right.
that conversation. Like, what a funny fella. Like that's peak humor.
And then I feel bad because like apparently like one of the contestants on the fake music competition has said that like she was like $10,000 or something she wasted on it.
Now,
Like
now, Wings of Talent is actually a legitimate
it's a legitimate
competition.
thing. Yes, I
Yeah,
know. But like
Wings of Voice, I think,
Wings of
Rings
was
of Voice,
Voice.
yes.
yeah.
That's
Thank
the
you.
the
I'm
person's
sorry.
complaining because they spent a ton of money on like travel and all that to
Yeah.
go compete, and they didn't get an opportunity or whatever, and they found out it was fake,
Well, no, it's real.
Wasn't fake. It was
It's real,
or it
real.
was
Cole.
for or it was for a TV show.
It was for a TV show.
The
But
winner gets to sing Evanescence
eh,
in a mock airport terminal.
Yep.
All right, we're getting close to getting down to the wire, so we have time. Let's talk about something very important to people, very pressing matter, very topical. Peter Jackson's The Hobbit trilogy. Our good friend and great co-host here, Cole, has just recently watched all three of these extended editions. For those of you who know below Tolkien's The Hobbit movies, they're not that great, I'll say. Let me give you for those that don't know it, I'll tell you my opinion, and that way you have a sounding board. I like the first one a lot. The second one could have been a little bit better, and I think it would have been great. The third one is garbage. So Cole, take it away, Ernie.
I'll take it. I'll make it keep this short and sweet for you
Well, we
guys.
got time. We got time, man.
wait,
Hit us with
Reed,
it.
have you heard his new opinion on this? Because you might feel it might be a little rough for you. You might want
He
to
would
sit
not say
down.
we were just before this episode, we were out on the big screen behind me, playing some Star Wars Battlefront 2. And we were killing it, one supremacy, and he brought it up and he said he's not saying a word till now. So buddy, I am Captain All Ears.
Well, I wanted to rewatch these for a little bit, and Lily and I watched the Lord of the Rings movies together, and we love those movies. They're terrific. Lord of the Rings movies are fantastic, and there's the extended editions, right, of the Lord of the Rings. I had never seen the Hobbit movies since theaters, and I knew that there was extended editions of the movies, so we were like, hey, let's sit down and watch the extended editions. Why not? And we watched all three of them, all the extended editions of these films, and my takeaway is that they're not bad. They're fine movies. They are not masterpieces, but they're not like as bad as like the Star Wars prequels by like any means, in my opinion. I actually, if I was to rank them, I'd put the first one as the worst one. Unexpected
What?
Journey is the
What?
worst one. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
This
What are
is
you
what I'm talking
saying?
about.
What is happening on this podcast? Dude, you just said the worst sentence you could have said to me. What
Oh,
the
Read it.
hell?
Read it gets better. Keep talking, Cole. Finish that thought.
I'd
Cole,
say I
please.
think that's I think Unexpected Journey was my least favorite one. I'd say Desolation of Smaug was my favorite one, and I'd say Battle of
Okay.
Five Armies. Yeah, I fell right in the middle.
Okay.
But I
That's fair.
actually, in terms of like progressively, I'd say like Desolation of Smaug and Five Armies are much better movies than Unexpected Journey. They're way better. I liked the I my beef with Unexpected Journey, it feels like they took like six scenes they stretched them to like their maximum length to the point where it's very boring. So I was not at all like excited by like the action. There was very little happening in the movie, and we know that because the Hobbit's like 200 pages. Like that's it. It's a children's book. Nothing happens. Like very few things. It's very simple. But yeah, I don't know. I think they stretched a lot of the material on that first movie to the breaking point, and it was not really exciting. And there's very not a lot of conflict between the characters, and even Thorin's stuff is like forced between him and Bilbo, in my opinion. And then the second and third one, they had more drama. I actually appreciated the love story, even if it's a little bit forced. And then I'd say the third one still builds on a lot of that more. So I just felt like I had better pacing, better action sequences, and it was just more entertaining to watch. And I have gripes with all of them, no matter what. But by like standards, like they're fine. They're all fine movies. Like again, seriously, it's not like glowing. I'm not like super impressed by them at all. But I don't hate them at all. I don't have any sort of hate or like despise or they ruined my childhood or anything like that. They're fine movies, and Peter Jackson did fine with what he had. So
I am
I will say the I don't like the the mayor of the town, Lake Town, just because it's like they they went with like such a cartoonish characterization of him and his like crony, and it made me think of like Denethor. You know, Denethor's an asshole, right? But he has like motivation, and he comes off as like a real character. But like the mayor and like his buddy, they're just so like stupid, and I didn't like how much time they spent with them. And I wish they would have spent more time like creating like a realistic character, or like, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's it. I don't know. Fine movies, not bad.
I will say when it comes to like Denethor, like book and movie wise, I think the movies, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I really do like the Lord of the Rings movies, obviously. But like the movies don't, they kind of do Denethor dirty for what that character is. Like they do a really good job and they give him a lot. And he's kind of this, I don't, it's like he's a cool character. Like, they give him something to do and like he's manageable. In the books though, like he's this guy who like he has a point to some things that he does and they're corrupt reasons, but like they have value. He's like kind of who's supposed to be a really good guy, but like fell into a drug addiction. I feel like is kind of what explains him well to a point where like he and Gandalf have like standoffs where like Gandalf's like, this is the greater good. And Denethor's like, I don't give a shit about the greater good. I care about my people. Like, you're going to get all my people killed if you bring the ring here. Like, go away, Gandalf. Anyway, so that being said, like, even in book and in movie form, you have this really cool in-depth Denethor, whereas what we got with the Lake Town Mayor is just, yeah, you're right, cartoonish. Same with his buddy, I forget, Arnold, I think is his name. Wow, that's great. I think it's Arnold. Terrible characters, just awful. And there's so many characters as it progresses that like, what are we doing here with you? Dane from the Iron Mountains, like, what are we doing here? Like
It
CGI
was
a
fine.
man.
It was CGI, which was really a bizarre choice. I don't know
Yeah.
why they did that. I was trying to think of like a reason besides like because I got a voice actor. Why didn't they just? I don't know.
I think because they get the voice actor who's Billy Connolly, and I think Billy Connolly was kind of old at that point. I think he's still alive. He's just is even older now, but obviously not old enough to be able to get into armor and in reality ride a CGI hog or whatever he rides it on. Dude, I gotta say, man, you cut me deep. You cut me deep. Not just with your rankings of these things, but with uttering the phrase that they are better than the Star Wars prequels. What is that?
Because they
That's so
are.
unnecessary.
They're
That's
better movies.
completely unnecessary, man. That's like somebody cuts you off in traffic and you're like, you Hitler? Like, no, not quite the same. Very different. No need to get into all that. You know, you
I
wouldn't judge LeBron James on his chess skills. What are you doing to me, man?
I was just watching them, and I was like, I watched the extended editions, and they, I'd say they don't necessarily like add a lot to the films, unlike the Well, actually, I'd say they're better movies than the theatrical. I'd say the pacing is probably better, at least in the second and third one, with adding a few more scenes for characterization or drama. Um, there's all the third one does, I think, is just extend a few action sequences and stuff, and then they give that Arnold character like a send off, I think. Um, it's just kind of like it's fine. It's not like the Lord of the Rings by any means, though. Like above and beyond, those movies are incredible. But it's bizarre watching them. Not bizarre watching them again, but I mean, it is a little interesting to see like what their thought process was for taking this like 200-page children's book and blowing it up into three dramatic action films. And besides like some of the pacing stuff and maybe some character choices, it was fine. I actually would I recommend watching them? If you have like 3 hours to kill. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Actually,
do.
well, no, actually, like turn the TV off and like go for a walk or go read the book. I don't know. It's better than
Yeah.
fucking sitting on your ass and watching Unexpected Journey.
Dude, you are very wrong for that. I do want to say actually, yeah, I think I would recommend if you have time to watch the movies, I think you have time to read the book. So just read the book because it is actually better. Um, yeah, I also want to tack on. It is very interesting that you make the prequel point. I suppose probably because it's a prequel to Lord of the Rings is something naturally
Yeah,
comes. Last time we brought this up, I think I was talking to Noah on maybe episode 48 or episode 49, and probably I think episode 48. Anyway, that being said, I would said, hit me with some questions because I think I said good things about the Hobbit trilogy. I do like it. I just have problems with the ending. Anyway, Noah brought up, do you think there could be like a resurgence in future fans like there was for the prequels after 20 years? Suddenly people love the prequels. And I thought that was a very interesting question. And yeah, I had the same thought. Like there's not an audience for it and there just won't be a
No.
return. Like we would sooner get a remake of Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy, before we get a prequel, The Hobbit again, like or a tear for that, like The Hobbit, or like the prequel. Sorry. All right. Well, I guess I promised one thing here as we're gonna send ourselves off, but I promised I'd give an update. Yeah, we got our camera, we got our mics, we got our value, we got our volume. Just kidding. But June 20th, we're going to be shooting our summer 2025 movie. After this, fellas, actually, I'm going to run some names by you for like 2, 3 minutes to give you a couple of tastes because I've got some ideas for names finally for this unnamed super project. That's the update. So, thank you all for listening. You've been a terrific audience. Come back next week and tell us what you think. People are liking it, and I think you would like it too. If you haven't listened to all of this and you're just starting from this point of the podcast, I'd say rewind and start over because there's a whole like hour-long episode. So do enjoy and come again next week. Tell your friends, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, bye-bye. See you next time. That was a whole episode of the Whole Other Podcast. It's over now. The podcast is done.